I'm not eating this, I'm eating this, and you don't eating this. And you have this with religion things, what you eat and what you don't eat. It's dividing and it's uniting. So food is very political. And for the two restaurants, the Oaxen Krög&Slip is two restaurants. So the Slip is a bistro. When you're sitting down around the table and you sharing the food with somebody, it's you get a sense of more community together with this person that you're eating with, and it's put you on a track or a sense of mind that is more open to the discussion or whatever you're talking about, and you're more relaxed. You enjoy the food better. I think that is the most important thing for a restaurant, to have this social meeting place where you can meet and eat and drink and talk and communicate. The Krög is our fine dining restaurant, 2 Michelin stars, but the important is that you should, or our wish is to give our guests an experience they will remember. The people from your own neighborhood comes and go to your restaurant. For me, that is very important as well. The philosophy of my cooking is to cook in a natural way, like normal processes, like fermentation or salting and curing and smoking and doing it. So we don't live in the 1800s anymore, but still you want to be as close to the tradition of the old techniques, but of course you have to adapt them and change them to fit your restaurant. But I want to be as close to natural processes as I can, not using funny stuff in my kitchen or artificial things. I think that is really important. And also to have a sustainable thinking is also very important, concerning like everything from how we work in the kitchen, who we buy from, how we run our own vegetable farm. The animal that we buy is of good quality, but also they come from farms that we trust. All food should taste good. I mean, it can't be. I hate when things are more interesting than good. That is like, it's so 2000 or the 90s or whatever, when you could put dishes who were looking fabulous, but were like, okay, yeah. The experience, not the plate, it's the warmness, the careness, the looks of the thing you're eating, how you are in the dining room, how our waiters in front of house are, and how our chefs are. We were quite often the chefs are out serving, but I don't have a fixed position in the kitchen. I go around and help a little bit everywhere, both on all stations in the kitchen, but also from the house. So for me, I have a little bit more time to do so. We call it a vegetable farm because the word farm is also, you can farm ideas, you can farm ways of work and ideas, and to be you coming closer to nature as well. If you're working there, we're not self-sufficient, and I don't want to be self-sufficient either, because if we have these lovely farmers that we buy stuff from, and if I'm starting farming all this, I'm sort of putting them out of work. My job is to cook food. My job is not to farm. It's very important to have these farmers who do this wonderful job that they're doing, So I don't want to put them out of business either. So it's a sort of a balance. We follow the season very much. Some ordinary vegetable, but if you're using it when it's the season for it, it's gonna taste so much nicer. You're gonna have to, half the cooking is already done. It's like it's tasting good already. You don't have to do so much about it. We have these sand boxes. We bury the vegetables in sand, so we can use them all year round. But again, it's mainly root vegetables you can do that with. I mean, we were eating fresh food for a month and a half in the old days. Rest of the year we were eating preserved food, or if it was salted or smoked or fermented or whatever, but we didn't have so much fresh food in the wintertime. Most of our fish comes from Norway. Very little from the Baltic. The Baltic is a tragic story. It's very polluted and very overfished. Atlantic Sea is, well, I mean, the Baltic, I see it as almost like a pre-taste of the Atlantic, because the problems we have in the Baltic is something who's going on in the Atlantic, but the Atlantic is so much more huge, so the effect doesn't come that fast. Swedish gastronomy right now, it's getting so much better. I'm 51 years old, so I still remember when everything who was produced in Sweden was blaha blaha, and everything what's imported was like the thing. All fine dining restaurants needed caviar and foie gras to be a fine dining restaurant, otherwise you weren't. The old way of producing food, as they did 30 years, nobody does anymore. What's remains of the Nordic Manifesto? Right now, nothing, I would say. More than nobody talks about it anymore. For me, it's not a restriction. It's more a guidelines, how to work, what to work with, and it sort of helps me. I'm more helped of it than and the opposite. It's something that is sort of in the back head of many chefs, who's good, I think. It put pressure on producers to produce good and nice food. And whenever somebody popped up who were producing this, there were a lot of chefs who were willing to pay good money for what they produced. Michelin is well, one of the things they getting critic for all the time, I think, is because they're so conservative and but then again, I like, today it's like, okay, you read it's really trendy to do this, so everybody do that, and next week it's, oh no, that is, you don't do that anymore, you want to have this, so everybody's, and they're not so trend sensitive. They have their ideas, they have their line to work with, who I sometimes think it's more important than being like popular. So it has that credibility. In France, you have chefs who kill themselves after losing a star. I'm super happy of having 2 Michelin stars. I'm super proud of it. The 50 Best has done so much great for the restaurant business as a whole, as a business. Puts a lot of focus on different restaurants with some with crazy ideas, some with very good ideas. If you're on the list, you're really popular, and if you're going off the list is even worse than the positivity of going on the list. Can I describe the chef of 2050? I don't know. I hope he's going to use less plastic, less paper, less energy. But I for sure you need to be more aware, because again, if you don't have the money to run your restaurant, you cannot run your restaurant. What should remain when I'm retired or dead? I don't know. Being a chef is sort of a bit zen, like all the things you're making, is consumed and gone when you're going home from work. So there's no really, and even the kitchen is cleaned down, it's empty, everything is standing in its place. So there's no really evidence of you even being there after a service. In that sense, it's very zen, I think. But I hope I can leave some recipes after me. Some wooden spoons, maybe. I love making wooden spoons and wooden bowls and stuff like that. Hopefully 1 or 2 of those will be around when I'm gone. That's what I'm hoping for.